Hey guys, I'm Janet on occasion, and today we're playing the Total War Warhammer II Battle Replay. This is now third time lucky. OBS has been refusing to record my desktop audio, despite the fact it says it is. So I think I've got it fixed now. So, God, yeah, I've recorded like 4 episodes of stuff today, and there was no game audio on any of it. So I'm pretty annoyed. But hey, this hopefully will work, well, you'll know if it works, because you'll hear this. Anyway, so as you can see, I brought Steam Tank. This is actually a match I played in my stream the other day, but it was a really fun one. Just, you know, bringing a Steam Tank is a good laugh. So I'm against Greenskins. So the Terror is really good there, and also having artillery is pretty useful, to be honest, against the Greenskins. Just some. Especially something that's a bit more survivable than a cannon crew. Because, yeah, there's stuff like Ragnarok spiders and, you know, orc boar boys that are quite slow, you know, nice, easy to hit. And also, you know, flying lords that are very formidable. So, yeah, Steam Tank's pretty good in this matchup, actually. I quite like it. It's probably the best time to bring him, honestly. Maybe against Skaven as well, potentially. But yeah, pretty fun. Also brought an Amber Wizard. I wanted something that could do some AoE damage because I wrapped up so much money into the Steam Tank. Also, I brought Voltmar because I didn't bring the Law of Life, so I didn't really bring Franz or anything. So, and Boris, I wanted something on the air that could do more AoE rather than single target because I had the Steam Tank to do that. So yeah, so I brought Voltmar. So yeah, loads of buffs and, you know, just great. Just fantastic. He also causes terror. He regenerates. He's just very formidable. I love all his buffs and his, you know, free banishments. It's great. So love this guy. Also, you can see I've got some spearmen on the edges for dealing with some cavalry. Nice and cheap, only 300, so that's great. Also got some swordsmen in the front. I've got 3 units there. Also I've got some great swords mixed in, so that's very nice. I've also got some handgunners and the silver bullets. So again, good against, you know, Ragnaroks and flying lords and nonsense like that. But also great against Black Orcs. They'll just do a load of damage. So great to have some handgunners. And yeah, in the back you see I have Reiksguard. Reiksguard are always formidable against the Greenskins. And I also have some spearmen with shields. I always like to have the spearmen with shields in the back. Because against Greenskins, this is always going to happen. You're always going to get things like the Death Creepers and Morgrove's Major Marauders hanging out in the back. So you want the shields for the missile resist, and you also want the pointed sticks in case you actually catch up to them and you can start killing them to death. So anyway, over here you can see my opponent has also brought a front line of Nasty Skulkers, which is a little bit strange. Honestly, one-on-one, these guys will lose to basically anything. They're basically for stabbing people in the back. They actually get buffs when they're winning combat, but on their own they will never win combat, so they don't get the buffs. So it basically means if you send something else in, like these Orc Biggins, then you can follow up with the Nasty Skulkers, and these guys will perform way better than they otherwise would. So they're great for just, you know, moving around the edges, especially because they can stalk. You can have them over here somewhere and just, yeah, bring them into the back and get some work done. But yeah, as a frontline unit, I think that's a mistake. It's a bit of a tough one, honestly, because these guys are not going to fare particularly well. And the smoke bombs are great as well, so if you do have them on the flanks, you know, ready to envelop, and cavalry spot them, smoke bomb, and then they're pinned, and you can get on top of them with the Orc Boar Boy Biggins. Because these guys do have a load of anti-large and anti-armor, they're very useful. The Biggins in the back, these guys will beat any state troops, apart from greatswords, and they're also anti-large. So they're just great, honestly. They're a great pick against the Empire, I think. So that's fun. He's also got a big line of Goblin Archers with the Rusty Arrows with the Armor Sundering. So all these guys can capitalize on the Armor Sundering of the Rusty Arrows. So pretty typical for, you know, Greenskin armies. And also Wurzag. So Wurzag, you know, effigy to Git for pinning things in place. Really useful. And also, he's got some great spells at his disposal. So pretty formidable. He's also not a complete pushover in melee. You know, he can hold his own. So we're going to speed things up and see how it goes. So straight away you can see the Steam Tank is firing into the Orc Boar Boy Biggins. Orc Boar Boy Biggins. I will be able to say that correctly one day. You know, first try. But anyway, not yet. So here you'll see I will actually get the handgunners to start firing at these guys. Over here you can see these guys have had to kind of pause because there's spearmen in the way. So I am going to send the Reiksguard after them to see if I can get in there nice and early. And I'm sending the spearmen too. But if I can catch them with the Reiksguard and follow up with the spearmen, they're going to be in a lot of trouble. You can see he is using the other Orc Boar Boy Biggins. Orc Boar Boy Biggins. Oh my god. Anyway, he's going to send them around the back as well to try and deal with me. Voltmar, I send it on his own. That's right, I was hoping he'd blob up around me. And I could Grand Soul Fire and shoot at him more with, you know, with my handgunners. But anyway, you can see here, these guys are both going to get terrified very quickly. With the ranged fire, the terrifying Voltmar, and the fact they're easily losing this fight. It's not good. They're running away. They do not have good leadership, which is why you can't really use them as a frontline force. Over here, these guys are both broken, you know. 2 units did half a unit swordsman. of work, and I'm pretty sure Nasty Skulkers cost more than the swordsmen do. So that was not good exchange, you know. I did use a Flock of Doom to tip it over the balance, you know, tip it over the edge, but I didn't even need it. Over here you can see the Orc Biggins are chasing the Reichsguard, but I have kept my Spearman close. So unfortunately he does get the charge on me, which is very painful. But the Spearman will be able to get a load of very cheap damage in here, so that's good. And also, these guys are wasting their ammo on the Spearman, which is great. So in the front line you can see there is so much focus fire on Voltmar. So I've used all of my buffs to try and deal with this stuff quicker. I used a banishment here to try and get some damage into something, but yeah, it's kind of half health on a couple of things, nothing too big. So here another Flock of Doom comes down, so I hit, I think, 3 units, I think? Yep, 3, no, 4. I hit 4 units with it, that was lucky. So I did some good damage to all that stuff. Voltmar is going to have to get out of there, but I think he does use FG to get on him if he hasn't already. So handgunners keep trying to walk forward, so I keep having to move him back. These spearmen are going to be chasing these Orc Biggins forever, and I don't mind. So over here you can see the spearmen are getting picked apart by everything, but look how much, you know, he is wasting to deal with these 1-unit spearmen. And all the while, my Reichsguard has slipped out the back, and they're going to be able to get into all these delicious units over here. They'll be able to gobble them up lovely. And that's more of a Greenskin thing, isn't it, eating your opponents, but still, whatever. Horses are hungry too. So here we go, so we're going to be charging in. So yeah, it's not looking great over here. So here's it, Here We Go, which is a great move, honestly. With Orc Biggins, their weapon strength is very high, 42. So if you buff their melee attack, like upwards of 80, that's going to be crazy effective. So over here you can see the steam tank is in a bit of trouble, you know, the anti-large, anti-armor coming in, but these guys aren't immune to psychology, so they will be terrified quicker. So I tried to get some extra damage in there with the Flock of Doom, and I'm going to send Voltmar in here to help. But you'll see, these guys aren't doing so well, they get terrified. So suddenly the steam tank is safe. So that's great. Spearmen are coming back as well, so take a bit of damage to the handgunners, but that doesn't really matter. Over here, these swordsmen are getting mopped up by the Biggins. Over here, you can see the cavalry has gotten into their back lines, but those swordsmen are getting just killed to pieces. But I'm getting a lot of damage on their archers now, which is good. And here, I tried to get the great swords onto the rusty arrows, but I've been intercepted by the Orc Biggins, and that is tough. But you can see here, I've got the steam tank has been shooting at Wurzag, and he's nearly gone. So that's pretty great. So you can see he's using his steam cannon, hitting some stuff, which is great for me. Voltmar is continuing to chase off the Orc Biggins, and I've got my spearmen continuing to chase these guys around and waste their ammunition. Because if I can waste these guys' ammunition, then they don't have the armor-piercing missiles, and those units aren't really that formidable anymore. So that's pretty great. So over here, unfortunately, my handgunners did get into range of the Orc Biggins. Sorry, just Orc Biggins. Oh my god, I'm always getting it wrong. I hate these tongue twisters. So anyway, so yeah, they actually got into my handgunners a bit, which is bad. Cannon managed to hit Wurzag, and Wurzag is now broken. Spearmen still chasing these guys, and my Reichsguard have managed to get into the rusty arrows, which is perfect. So these handgunners just shooting at fleeing units, which is nice. So pretty good for me. And here you can see he is trying to get rid of the Amber Wizard. Amber Wizard did actually have FG to get on him earlier, which I think I missed, but that's fine. So that's where he's taking a lot of damage. It also doesn't help that I keep overcasting and miscasting, but you know, that's fine. So Cannon doing a great job, being an absolute pain. And here you'll see my handgunners are going to need to turn around to focus on these Orc Biggins, because they need to get taken out nice and quick, because I cannot afford to take a charge from these guys. So luckily I managed to react in time, and they're haggard enough that one volley from each should be enough to shatter them. And there we go. So here, these guys, they should have charged into the back of here, really. They could have just charged into the handgunners and shut them down a lot earlier. He was being too coy with these units. They're very maneuverable, hit and runs are perfect. And here I turn and deal with these guys, and Flock of Doom to try and win these engagements quicker. And you see army losses is here. Everything's broken, everything shatters. So there we go, Pyrrhic victory. And hopefully one that I actually captured the game audio on. God, the perils of being a YouTuber. Anyway, so guys, as you can see, Steam Tank, 32 kills. Doesn't seem like a lot, but he basically took out Wurzag on his own, and he was causing terror as he ran around, and he was a big target that had to be dealt with. That, you know, meant he was wasting time in my back line when he could have been trying to deal with the rest of my front line, you know. So, so that was pretty fun. The Reichsguard, I think, did great. You know, bit of an unfavourable engagement with the Orc Biggins, but I did have the backup of the Spearmen. So it worked out okay, you know, they took more losses in that engagement than I did, and the Reichsguard were then able to capitalise and, you know, deal with a lot of the archers. So that was pretty great. Worked out pretty well. Also the handgunners, you know, they got a lot of damage in, got a lot of damage into the Orc Biggins, which again was massive help, because if they'd come in healthy onto the steam tank, they could have shredded the steam tank on their own, you know. 1v1, I don't think the steam tank would have lasted. It just can't dish out enough damage, and it just has no defense. against armor-piercing units, because it doesn't have melee defense. It can't parry or block or dodge, right? It just gets hit every time. So all that armor-piercing damage is going to register. And the anti-large bonus as well, on top of it, that is actually just true damage. That can't be negated by armor. Any of the like anti-large or anti-infantry bonuses. That just hits. That just adds damage. So, yeah, that anti-large bonus will hit, as will all of the armor-piercing. So, yeah, if it can't dodge or deflect or anything, it's going to get hit. So, pretty rough, you know, with 10 melee defense. It's, yeah. But, you know, it worked out alright. You know, I was able to send Voltmar back to help him out. You know, the Amber Wizard could be casting wherever he needed to. So it all worked out pretty well. You know, I was able to screen out a lot of the units I wanted to. And, yeah, I mean, his front line, luckily, I mean, Nasty Skulkers, I think it's just... He would have been better off with normal goblins if he was going to use them in the front line. They would have had shields, and actually they would have held a lot longer. So, pretty, you know, difficult. Pretty iffy choice, I'm afraid. So, Husslepuff, I hope you've learned from that and don't try using these guys at the front line again. They are specifically designed for stabbing things in the back that are already engaged. That's their whole thing. If you're not using them like that. Or, well, actually, the smoke bombs are still really useful, you know, pinning down cavalry so you can capitalise with other stuff, but they're not frontline fighters. They just aren't. You know, I mean, they're nasty skulkers. They're for skulking, not for advancing. So, it's a tough one. But anyway, Biggins did great. Here we go. I think it was a great choice of spell. Just keep hitting that on, you know, these relatively cheap units. It meant that he didn't necessarily need Black Orcs for that punch, because he could just elevate these guys to, you know, astoundingly good hitters. So it made them really formidable, and you can see you get a lot of kills with a lot of them, you know. And my greatswords were pretty haggard by the end of it, so it definitely worked. But it just his front line, I think, was his weakest point, and also not willing to get these guys, you know, get these guys dirty. Just send them in, rear charge stuff. You know, my handgunners were easy pickings, and these guys would have been able to deal with them really easily. So, you know, you get rid of them, and the Orc Boy Biggins wouldn't have been taken out, and you could have had these to deal with the, you know, Voltmar, the Amber Wizard, the steam tank. You know, it's you gotta really pick your battles and you know, take risks. These guys aren't going to do any good if they're just shooting at spearmen. You know, you need to charge them in, hit stuff. You know, they're very maneuverable. I can't chase them. I can't outrun them. You know, so use that speed advantage. So guys, if you enjoyed this, please do comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good day, guys.